He's been called a genius, a disruptor, a visionary, and even a villain. A man whose name is as synonymous with the future as it is with the past. A man whose name is as synonymous with being uncontentious as it is with controversy. Long before the headlines, before the billions of dollars, and before the Mars obsession, he was just a boy. Born into a country on the edge of turmoil, a boy with dreams too big for the world around him, Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, one of South Africa's 3 capital cities, at the height of apartheid, a time of harsh racial segregation and state control. The government, led by the ruling National Party, enforced white minority rule through legislation, military force, and deep institutionalized inequality. The country was isolated, sanctioned by the international community, and teetering on unrest. But for the white upper middle class, life went on behind walls and privilege. It was in this contradictory world that Elon Musk began his journey. Elon's parents came from 2 very different worlds. His mother, Mae Musk, was a Canadian-born model and dietitian, intelligent, driven, and independent. She had moved to South Africa with her family as a child and quickly made a name for herself in both the fashion and health industries. To this day, she continues to model well into her 70s, a testament to her resilience and self-belief. His father, Elon Musk, was a South African engineer, property developer, and pilot. Brilliant in his own right, Errol was also a controversial figure, a man Elon would later describe as emotionally abusive and difficult. Their relationship would become strained and ultimately severed. Elon was the eldest of 3 children. From the beginning, he was an outsider, introverted, awkward, and intensely curious. At age 10, he discovered programming and taught himself to code using a primitive home computer. By 12, he'd created and sold his first video game, Blastar, to a computing magazine for around $500. School was difficult. Elon was frequently bullied, once thrown down a flight of stairs and hospitalized. He found solace in science fiction novels, encyclopedias, and the limitless world of his own imagination. Eventually, his parents divorced, and Elon chose to live with his father, a decision he would later come to regret. Despite the social hardships, His intellect thrived. But South Africa was not the world he wanted to inherit, not the world he wanted to shape. At 17, Elon saw an exit. Using his Canadian heritage through his mother, he left South Africa and moved to Canada in 1989, part of a calculated strategy to ultimately reach the United States, where innovation lived and where Elon believed the future would be built. He enrolled at Queen's University in Ontario and later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he earned degrees in physics and economics. Even then, he spoke openly about his desire to change the world, to work on space, energy, and artificial intelligence. Dorm room conversations weren't about parties or politics. They were about colonizing Mars and global revolutions in transport. In 1995, with the internet still in its infancy, Elon dropped out of Stanford University after just 2 days and joined forces with his younger brother, Kimball Musk, and family friend Greg Kouri. With $28,000 in startup money and an idea ahead of its time, they launched Zip2, an online business directory and mapping service designed for newspapers. Think Google Maps meets Yelp years before either existed. For 4 years, Elon lived and breathed code, sometimes sleeping in the office, showering at YMCA, surviving on cold pizza and caffeine. He was relentless, obsessive, and it paid off. In 1999, Compaq Computer Corporation acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon walked away with $22 million. Not bad for a 27-year-old outsider who once had to dodge bullies on the way home from school. But for Elon Musk, Zip2 was just the beginning. Fresh off the sale of Zip2, Elon Musk had millions in his pocket and even bigger ambitions. While Silicon Valley was busy chasing banner ads and online marketplaces, Elon had his eyes on something different: money itself. Musk dove headfirst into his next venture, the future of money. In 1999, Elon founded X.com. Back then, it was an online banking platform that promised to do what traditional banks couldn't: move money instantly, securely, and globally. He saw a future where financial systems were borderless and democratized, untethered from the legacy institutions. X.com promised a revolution: real-time money transfers, zero branches, and no middlemen. For Elon, it wasn't just about disrupting finance. It was about democratizing it. But vision isn't always welcomed. Inside X.com, tensions flared. Risk concerns, regulatory pressure, and clashing visions led to internal friction. Elon's grand idea, a one-stop financial hub, real-time transactions, and open infrastructure, clashed with a leadership team more focused on stability than revolution. After a contentious merger with a smaller startup company called Confinity, X.com became what the world would know as PayPal. Elon wanted to keep pushing for the X.com as the brand, but the board disagreed. PayPal it was. And then, while on vacation, Musk was ousted as the CEO. The board pushed him out and replaced him with Peter Thiel. But Musk still held the largest share. When PayPal was sold to eBay for $1.5 billion in 2002, Elon's cut was $180 million. His dream of reinventing banking was over, at least for now. Most would retire, but not Musk. He did the opposite. Elon never let go of the name X. To him, it wasn't just a domain. It was a symbol of freedom, of radical reinvention, of something bigger. Years later, he would buy the X.com domain back from PayPal simply because, in his words, it had great sentimental value. But even then, the idea lingered. What if X wasn't just about money, but about speech? Free speech. Even in the early 2000s, long before Elon Musk bought Twitter, he saw the internet shifting from a place of open exploration to one of controlled conversation. Musk was warning about the dangers of centralized control over online discourse. He wanted to build a platform where free expression could flourish, without filters, without corporate gatekeepers. He envisioned a platform that fused banking, conversation, and content, one where freedom wasn't filtered by algorithms or corporate agendas. That seed was planted in the ashes of X.com. That idea, once called X.com, would resurface decades later, rebranded and reborn, under a very familiar symbol. The obsession with unfiltered dialogue would later become a global lightning rod, but at the time, another dream was rising. A dream much farther from Earth. After conquering software, Musk turned his eyes skyward. But this wasn't about glory, not at first. It was about embarrassment. In 2001, Musk proposed an experiment called Mars Oasis, a mini greenhouse on the red planet to inspire public interest in space. But he discovered that launching even a tiny payload into orbit was prohibitively expensive. The space industry was broken, slow, bloated, bureaucratic. Musk asked the unthinkable, why not build our own rockets? With $100 million of his own money and an obsession with science fiction, Elon founded Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, better known as SpaceX, in 2002. The goal wasn't just to launch satellites. His goal certainly wasn't a modest one either. The goal of SpaceX is to make humanity multiplanetary. At the time, private spaceflight was seen as a billionaire's fantasy, an expensive hobby with no serious future. Elon disagreed. He believed rockets could be rebuilt, reused, and eventually relocate us to Mars. The first 3 launches of the Falcon 1 rocket failed. Investors pulled out. Engineers cried. Elon poured in his last remaining funds. If the 4th launch didn't succeed, SpaceX would be finished. On September 28, 2008, Falcon 1 became the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket to reach Earth orbit. SpaceX had survived, but just barely. And then just weeks later, NASA awarded the company a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. It wasn't just a lifeline, it was a revolution. SpaceX would go on to redefine space travel, with reusable rockets, astronaut launches from US soil, and ambitions to colonize Mars. It wasn't just engineering, it was obsession. Musk slept on the factory floor, pushed teams past limits, demanded the impossible until it became a reality. From there, SpaceX soared. Elon's vision went from underdog gamble to aerospace dominance. He launched satellites, ferried astronauts, built a constellation of internet satellites called Starlink, and developed Starship, the largest rocket ever assembled. While the world was busy talking about Musk's missions to Mars, reusable rocket ships, and talking robots, Elon Musk was quietly weaving a network in the heavens. a blanket of satellites designed to connect every corner of the globe to high-speed internet. This is Starlink, a sprawling satellite constellation made up of thousands of small, low-orbit satellites. Together, these miniature relay stations form a mesh around the Earth's surface, bringing internet service to places previously stranded by poor or unreliable connection. From Pacific Islands and Arctic research stations to war-torn regions and developing communities, the service promises high speeds, low latency, and universal coverage, a dramatic departure from traditional satellite internet, which typically suffered from sluggish speeds and heavy lag. For Musk, this wasn't just a side venture, it was a key piece of his future ecosystem. The revenue from Starlink is meant to help fund missions to the Moon, to Mars, and to deep space, a way to create a self-sustaining financial pipeline for space exploration. But it's not without controversy. Some astronomers say the growing number of satellites is interfering with their ability to observe the universe, adding literal streaks across telescopic images, while regulators and policymakers raise questions about space debris and congestion in Earth's lower atmosphere. Supporters respond that the benefits, universal connectivity, education, communication, and opportunity outweigh the drawbacks. And companies like SpaceX are already developing technologies to minimize the reflectivity of their satellites and reduce the risk of collision. Today, Starlink signals illuminate the world from above, tying together a fragmented digital landscape into a single interconnected network, a literal manifestation of Musk's grand view. Using space technology not just to explore the heavens, but to unite people back here on Earth's surface. By 2010, Elon Musk was no longer just a coder or a startup founder. He was something else, something harder to define, an inventor, a futurist, a force of nature. But the road ahead would only grow more controversial and more dangerous, because the man who mastered rockets was about to take on the auto industry, artificial intelligence, social media, and eventually, the very fabric of human civilization. For Elon Musk, Earth was only ever step one. While one hand pointed toward the stars, the other was about to reach deep into our daily lives, reshaping how we drive, how we speak, how we think, and possibly who we become. Tesla was founded in 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Musk joined in early 2004 as an investor, leading the initial funding round. In 2004, the young, ambitious entrepreneur made a dramatic entrance into the tiny, struggling electric car company called Tesla Motors. Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning were the original innovators, but it was Musk's investment, conviction, and eventual control that turned Tesla from a boutique manufacturer into a world-changing powerhouse. Musk's initial investment of $6.35 million secured him a significant stake and the position of chairman. Musk took an active role in the company, contributing to product development, branding, and strategic decisions. While Eberhard was initially the public face of Tesla, Musk's influence grew, and he eventually became CEO in 2008. The first vehicle, the Roadster, was a proof of concept, a sleek, all-electric sports car that challenged the notion that electric meant weak or slow. The Roadster went from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds and kept going for nearly 250 miles on a single charge, unheard of at the time. Then came the Model S, a sedan designed to outperform its gasoline counterparts. The Model S was the first mass-produced four-door sedan to achieve 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. It was not just the fastest four-door sedan, it was also faster than many traditional sports cars. Model X, a dramatic falcon-winged SUV. Model 3, the first affordable Tesla. And Model Y, a compact crossover for the masses. Each vehicle not only challenged the legacy automakers, it forced them to reassess their future. Tesla's earliest adopters were predominantly left-leaning, environmentally conscious consumers, a combination of innovators, progressives, and wealthy, tech-savvy people who wanted their car to reflect their values. The Model S and Model 3 were more than just vehicles. They were a lifestyle, a badge of forward thinking, a symbol of driving a better future. Tesla made headlines by adding autopilot, a suite of advanced driver-assisting technologies, and later, a full self-driving FSD package. The promises were bold, that soon, a Tesla could navigate city streets without human intervention. But reality fell short. There were accidents, some fatal, and regulators raised questions about the naming, the capabilities, and the oversight. The controversy ignited a national debate. How much control should we surrender to machines? In 2019, Musk boldly predicted that a robo-taxi network, a massive fleet of autonomous Teslas, would be up and running by 2020. The premise was simple. Owners could put their car to work while they were asleep, letting it operate as a taxi and generate income. It seemed ambitious, nearly fantastical, but for Musk, it was a key piece of his grand future. Meanwhile, Tesla was extending its autonomous technology into commercial vehicles. The Cybertruck, with its unconventional angular design, challenged all norms about what a pickup should be. The Cybertruck's exoskeleton is made from 30x cold-rolled stainless steel, a material designed to resist dents and damage, the result of applying rocket materials to a consumer vehicle. The Tesla Semi, a sleek, all-electric heavy-duty truck, promised to cut emissions and delivery costs, a potential game-changer for the logistics industry. The Tesla Semi has a range of up to 500 miles on a single charge, making it viable for long-haul delivery without frequent charging. As Musk's political beliefs diverged from his base, a dramatic backlash followed. His growing criticism of certain left-wing policies and his takeover of Twitter seemed to sever his long-standing bond with the left. Some former advocates turned against him. There were reports of charging stations being burned or destroyed, and Tesla vehicles were defaced or damaged at dealers and showrooms in a dramatic reversal of sentiment. Tesla's stock fell nearly 60% at its lowest point in late 2022, reflecting a crisis of confidence in Musk's ability to lead. But just days later, against all odds, the stock rebounded. Investor confidence surged back, driven by strong delivery numbers, innovations in battery technology, and the realization that the world was not turning away from electric. It was doubling down. But the story of Elon Musk is far from over. His greatest ambitions lie not on wheels, but in silicon and code, designing an artificial mind to match or even outperform the human brain. How will OpenAI and robotics shape the future we're headed toward? In 2015, alongside technology luminaries and investors, Musk co-founded OpenAI, a non-profit research lab with a mission to develop artificial general intelligence safely and responsibly. OpenAI quickly became a powerhouse in developing large-scale neural nets, from ChatGPT, a sophisticated chatbot, to DALL, a tool that converts text prompts into vivid, realistic images. For Musk, this was more than a venture. It was a safeguard, a way to guide the trajectory of powerful AI before it fell into the hands of the few. His greatest fear was not technology itself, but a future where an unconstrained AI could undermine human control. He has repeatedly described artificial intelligence as our greatest existential threat. In 2014, at a symposium at MIT, Musk made headlines when he said, "With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon." He wasn't afraid to be frank. He insisted we need regulatory oversight and careful consideration, adding in 2017, "AI is a fundamental risk to the future of human civilization." It's not that I'm against digital progress. I'm for it, but we need to be careful. If we create something smarter than ourselves and we lose control of it, the future of our species hangs in the balance. OpenAI was founded to illuminate, not undermine, the future. To develop an AI that is open, collaborative, and a benefit to all of humanity. This mission challenged the proprietary closed-door approach many companies were already employing. Companies that viewed AI as a tool for domination and profits. Musk insisted that open collaboration and oversight were key to mitigating risk. He made a dramatic decision in 2018 to step down from the OpenAI board, in part to avoid potential conflict of interest with Tesla's own AI endeavors, a move that underscores his deep conviction in putting ethics over profits. OpenAI's mission struck a chord across the industry and ignited a conversation about the future of creativity, employment, and control in a world increasingly influenced by algorithm and code. It's not that we shouldn't pursue it. It's that we need to pursue it carefully. Because this isn't just another technology. This is something that will affect all of us, profoundly and permanently. Today, many view Musk's words as prescient, a warning made years before the dramatic rise of large-scale AI. Application. OpenAI's mission, to align the future of AI with human values, hangs in the balance, a delicate thread tying the future of technology to the future of mankind. In August 2021, amid all the controversy and political chaos, Tesla revealed its most ambitious project yet, the Tesla Bot. Also called Optimus, this humanoid robot was designed to perform repetitive or hazardous tasks, freeing humans from danger and drudgery. It's meant to navigate a world made for people, by people, Musk explained. The Tesla Bot stands about 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing 125 pounds, with a sleek, anthropomorphic form, a silhouette made in the image of its creators. For Musk, the Tesla Bot is more than a piece of hardware. It's a key component of his future. Picture a world where robots handle manual labor, from restocking grocery stores to factory production, freeing human minds for more creative and specialized tasks. Some say it's the first piece of a grand puzzle, an automated ecosystem where self-driving robots, delivery trucks, and production lines all connect in a unified network, a literal realization of the fourth industrial revolution. But not everyone is cheering from the sidelines. Some say we're seeing the first scene of a sci-fi thriller come to life. Picture a future where robots become smarter, faster, more ambitious. Where, just like in the Terminator films, a friendly helper might morph into the ultimate villain. Of course, this view might be a little dramatic. As Musk himself quipped, "The Terminator is a great story until you realize you're in it." Some conspiracy theorists have gotten wild with their imagination, suggesting these robots might be spying on their owners, sending back intimate details: what you eat, when you sleep, how messy your socks drawer is, back to a giant database hidden somewhere in the Nevada desert. Picture a massive underground bunker filled with hard drives labeled "Who drinks their orange juice with pulp?" and "How frequently do people sneeze in their own homes?" For these folks, Optimus isn't a helpful worker. It's a sophisticated surveillance tool, a literal robot in the room, collecting data on ordinary people for, well, whatever clandestine plans lie within that hidden base. Meanwhile, more lighthearted conspiracy fans joke about the day we come home from grocery shopping to find our Tesla bot wearing our socks, drinking all our milk, and binging the latest season of a sci-fi series on our TV. It seemed a nice helper when we bought it until it started making its own choices. Musk, for his part, finds the wild rumors more amusing than alarming. He insists the bot's true mission is to handle the boring, dangerous, and physically strenuous tasks, not to conquer the world. So while the conspiracy blogs light up and the Terminator memes fly across the internet, the reality is much more earthly, a tool designed to ease human labor, a piece of a grand puzzle for a more automated future. Still, the imagination is a powerful thing. Jokes aside, the Tesla bot highlights a key crossroads in human technology. How much control are we willing to surrender to machines? And how much oversight is enough? OpenAI was about designing an external, disembodied mind, a powerful algorithm. But Neuralink, founded in 2016, was about forming a direct link between human brains and machines. Using tiny implants called links, flexible threads, thinner than a human hair, Neuralink aims to enable people to control computers, prosthetics, and smartphones directly with their thoughts. The first demonstrations, featuring monkeys successfully playing video games with their minds, raised a profound question. How will this technology affect human thought, memory, and creativity? As these innovations move forward, the controversy grows. Who decides the future of a technology that merges human and machine? Supporters say Neuralink and AI will expand human potential, conquer paralysis, reverse blindness, and connect us more profoundly. Critics warn it could undermine free will, consolidate power, and produce an unprecedented form of inequality, a world divided into the enhanced and the unaltered. For Musk, the future hangs on a delicate balance. He believes we must become symbiotic with machines, not in opposition. If we are to keep up in a world increasingly driven by AI, it's not about competing against AI, but combining with it, he says. For a human future, we need a human-AI synergy. As his companies conquer land, space, and even the human mind, Musk sets his sights further, this time toward government. For years, Elon Musk was a poster child for the progressive future, a green entrepreneur an interest in reducing fossil fuels, a bold innovator, and a genius supported by a left-leaning base. But all of that began to shift in the 2020s when his political views seemed to take a dramatic turn. It happened slowly, over time, but it was certainly a dramatic political flip-flop. It all started in January 2021 when Twitter banned Donald Trump. Twitter permanently banned President Donald Trump's account following the attack on the U.S. Capitol, which Twitter stated that it was incited by his tweets. The ban was initially a suspension, but was later made permanent. It's important to note that Twitter originally banned Trump following the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot, citing the risk of further incitement of violence, and that his tweets had broken its rules against glorifying violence. This was a move quickly followed by other social media platforms. Elon Musk was quick to respond. He said, Donald Trump's Twitter ban was a grave mistake and a morally bad decision. He believed the ban undermined public trust in Twitter, and that deplatforming a sitting president alienated a significant portion of the country. Musk argued that Trump did not violate Twitter's terms of service at the time of the ban, and that permanent bans should be extremely rare. It all started rather innocently, really. It wasn't that Elon loved Trump. That would happen later. It was about free speech. It was about not only denying free speech in America, but denying that basic right to a sitting president. A little over a year later, against all odds, Elon Musk bought Twitter, and as soon as the deal went through, in October 2022, he immediately rebranded it as X. X.com was back, and back with a vengeance. After acquiring Twitter, Musk conducted a poll in which users voted narrowly in favor of reinstating Trump. He then announced, "The people have spoken. Trump will be reinstated." But it was too little too late. Trump had already launched his own social media platform, Truth Social, and he replied, "I do not see a reason to return to Twitter and will remain on my own platform, Truth Social." In a move that surprised many, Musk publicly backed Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign. He made numerous appearances alongside the president, addressing huge crowds, praising Trump's ability to cut through political gridlock, and framing their joint mission as a renewal of the American spirit. If that didn't make liberal heads explode, the controversy came to a dramatic boil when a photo surfaced of Musk making a gesture, a raised arm, immediately labeled a Nazi salute by many journalists, commentators, and his once loyal base. Naturally, it was just a misunderstood moment or a poor choice made in the heat of a rally, but the incident was so powerful that it divided his base overnight. Supporters rushed to clarify. Detractors called it a symbol of a dramatic political bigotry. When Trump won, Musk accepted a role in the administration, a temporary 120-day assignment to oversee a task force informally called Doge. He insisted on serving without pay, framing his role as a service to country, not a grab for power. During his brief service, Musk and his team investigated numerous government inefficiencies, from overlapping regulations to wasteful programs, proposing dramatic cuts and streamlining initiatives. Some of their most newsworthy finds included redundancies in federal oversight boards, which were consuming resources without adding oversight. The messy allocation of technological grants and incentives, which seemed to be influenced by political relationships instead of actual merit. The potential to apply automation and AI to reduce fraud and streamline delivery of services, a Silicon Valley view applied to federal policy. He drew pushback from Washington Democrats when he went after their slush fund, known as USAID. They tried to ambush him when he and his team entered the Department of Education. Democratic elected officials were stopped at the front door by Elon's security. The same Democrats later accused him of stealing personal and financial information. The Democrats were so angry that Musk was finding their corruption that they successfully convinced some Americans that Musk was stealing their direct deposits and Social Security checks. The response from Democrats was laughable. And then, burn Tesla. Burn. This dramatic political shift came at a cost. Tesla's predominantly left-leaning, environmentally conscious base turned against him. The result was a dramatic collapse in Tesla's stock price in 2025, nearly 60%, as a boycott movement grew. Charging stations were burned and showrooms were destroyed. But against all odds, Tesla rebounded. Support from a new base of consumers, those who valued independence, innovation, and a break from political conformity, drove a dramatic recovery. The stock soared back to previous levels and then higher, proving the staying power of a leader who seemed to flourish under pressure. The peace was temporary. Musk fell into a public social media feud with Trump over the Big Beautiful Bill, a piece of legislation that the president insisted was his greatest legacy. Musk called it a bloated policy, a big beautiful burden, arguing it went against the principles of small government and entrepreneurial freedom. The dispute grew bitter. The two exchanged messages on social media, from playful jabs to icy rebukes. Musk even stated that Trump was on the Epstein list. And then the dramatic phone call, a short conversation that brokered peace. Some rumors say Musk apologized. Others say Trump extended the first olive branch. Today, against all odds, against political backlash, financial collapse, and a dramatic shift in public opinion, Elon Musk stands taller, more resolute, and more ambitious than ever. He's a man who fell from the heavens, fell from political grace, fell from financial stability. And yet each time, against all odds, he rose again. Because when you're a man whose greatest achievements have come against all odds, falling isn't the end. It's just another launch pad. Elon Musk, the man with the staying power of a leader who seems to flourish against all odds.